This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Monday, the 2nd day of June in the year 2025. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here's what we're tracking tonight. President Irfan Ali, while not denying that he did offer some assistance to businessman turned politician Azruddin Mohamed over 4 years ago with the customs clearance of a luxury sports car, today said the invoice with the true value of the car was never presented to him. In response to a video statement that was released by the businessman Azruddin Mohamed, which showed purported text conversations with the president over the clearance of the vehicle, the president said Mr. Mohamed maintained a false claim about the cost of the vehicle. He said at no point did Azruddin Mohamed share with him the correct invoice indicating a value of $695,000, which he said they now know is the accurate cost of the vehicle. The president said instead Mohamed maintained the false claim that the vehicle was worth $75,000, the same figure he presented to the Guyana Revenue Authority. Businessman Azruddin Mohamed, who recently announced his run for the presidency, was charged last week for tax evasion and making false declarations to the Guyana Revenue Authority in relation to the importation of the luxury Lamborghini sports car back in 2020. In a video posted to his social media page this morning, Mohamed questioned why the government was now reviewing documents in relation to the importation of the vehicle. He accused the president and the vice president of both being aware of the importation of the vehicle.
On December the 7th, the car arrived. I cleared the car, paid the duty, $50 million in duty. I messaged him and I thanked him. Chief, all good with the car, thanks. The day after, I missed 2 calls. This is the car here at my workshop. We were doing some repairs on the car because it had issues. Now, this is the trump card. This is the trump card. They mentioned, Bara Jagya and Irfan Ali both mentioned a couple days ago that they had no knowledge, no dealing whatsoever with this Lamborghini. They had no access to no documents. They didn't even know about this car when it arrived. So look here. This is the SWIFT transfer payment for the Lamborghini. It was sent through Republic Bank on the 7th of October 2020. This is Republic Bank stamp here.
The text messages showed that just 1 month after the president took office, Mr. Azruddin Mohamed reached out to him, questioning whether if he were to pay $50 million in taxes for the importation of the vehicle, whether he would still face a fight down from the Commissioner General of the GRA, Godfrey Stacia. He said the president called him directly in response to that query. Mohamed said he later sent a message to the president when he was able to clear the vehicle and pay the taxes on it in December of 2020. He also showed a message that he said he sent to the president with the payment transfer documents showing the cost he claims he paid for the luxury vehicle. Mohamed said he contacted the president again in January when he was blocked from having the car registered. He complained to the president that he had sent the vehicle to be registered, but that it was blocked by the GRA Commissioner General.
Well, I had to wait to get a special number, PZZ 4000. So it took a couple weeks for the number to reach close to that number. So I submitted the documents to register the car, and they called and said they have some issues with Stacia. He doesn't want to register the car. So I sent Irfan these messages. Chief, if I sent to register the Lamborghini to the license office, and Stacia told them not to register it until he gives instructions. Chief, Stacia stressed me and the old man over the last 5 years and sucked all about out of us when PNC was in power. First time I ever hear that the Commissioner General got to know when a vehicle registered. He said will be dealt with. I responded, okay, Chief, thanks.
Mohamed said in response, the president told him in a message that the issue would be dealt with. He said he later reminded the president about the intervention he was seeking and received another message from the president indicating that the matter had been sorted. Today, President Ali in his statement said Azruddin Mohamed lied about the cost of the vehicle. He said the government is now aware of not one but a series of financial transfers made to the same company, verifying what was actually paid for the car. The president said that is the matter before us. The president said he lied about the value of the car. He said based on the facts now presented by the U.S. authorities, Mohamed did lie and presented a falsified invoice to the Guyana Revenue Authority. The video of the messages between the president and the businessman that was shared by the businessman also showed several other conversations between the two, but those conversations were blurred by the businessman. The GRA wants Mohamed to pay the correct taxes on the imported luxury vehicle, claiming that he made false declarations about the cost when the vehicle was imported almost 5 years ago. Azruddin Mohamed and his father, along with their businesses, were sanctioned by the U.S. government last year over claims of tax evasion on the valuing of gold exports and bribery payments. Government Permanent Secretary May Thomas was also sanctioned over her alleged involvement with the Mohammeds in some of their alleged wrongdoings. Earlier this year, following a request from Guyana, the U.S. government provided details of its probe of the sanctioned individuals, triggering local investigations. The Mohammeds once enjoyed close ties with the governing PPP, with the father even serving as a PPP candidate at the last local government elections. However, the close ties started to drift apart as the younger Mohamed started to showcase his political ambitions, and the sanctions from the U.S. were instituted. The Mohammeds have continuously claimed no wrongdoing, while Vice President Barrett Jagdeo has described the family as a criminal cabal. More news coming up in just a moment.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look, you know the one, or one touch, even one word. I can start with one step, or one promise, one thrill, one first time, one deep breath, one leap of faith, one day to remember, or one night to forget. One moment, so many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life, just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
Your own home is so much more than just four walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Did you know that local businesses are now providing 100% of several key services to the oil and gas sector? This highlights the significant achievements in local content development. In 2020, only 5% of selected services were provided by Guyanese companies. Presently, that number has reached 100%. Some of the fully Guyanese provided services include scaffolding, transportation, and immigration support, with the inclusion of visa applications. The expansion of local capacity has led to increased investments and job creation. Hundreds of companies are benefiting from the oil and gas industry, and so can you. To access opportunities like these in the oil and gas sector, visit the local Content Secretariat's supplier portal. The Ministry of Education wishes to announce that the Because We Care Cash Grant and the Uniform and School Supplies Grant will begin distribution from May 12, 2025. Please note, however, that distribution will begin later in May and in some cases June for certain regions. Therefore, we encourage all parents and guardians to consult the published distribution schedule to confirm when their grant will be available.
So, what's been given this year?
The grant has been increased to $55,000 per child. This includes $50,000 for the Because We Care Cash Grant and $5,000 for the Uniform and School Supplies Grant.
Who qualifies for this grant?
All public and private school learners from nursery year 1 to grade 10 who are registered and attending school are eligible. In grade 11, only students who will register for CAPE grade 12 in September qualify, along with current grade 12 students who will be continuing to grade 13. For children entering nursery this year, they must have been registered by March 28, 2025.
How do I collect the grants?
The parent or assigned guardian of the child can uplift the grant at the child's school. Just make sure to bring a valid form of ID, your national ID card, passport, or driver's license.
What if I don't have any of those IDs?
No worries, your identity can be verified by a senior official in your community, such as the school's principal or village tusho.
Suppose I can't go myself to collect it. What then?
You can authorize someone else to collect the grant on your behalf.
What happens if I miss the dates?
If you miss the scheduled date at your school, a later collection date will be announced, but this will only happen after the national distribution is completed, so it's best to collect it as scheduled if possible. Got more questions? Check the Ministry of Education's social media pages or contact your child's school for more information. In service to you, because we care.
With the general and regional elections set to take place in September, the government, in a last-minute move, used its majority in the National Assembly today to pass the Representation of the People Amendment Bill 2025 to provide for a deputy supernumerary returning officers, primarily for polling sub-districts in Regions 3, 4, and 6. In defending the bill, the Attorney General Adel Nanlal said the amendment is intended to further strengthen the country's electoral system and add to the safeguards in place to prevent electoral fraud. He explained that in crafting the Representation of the People Amendment Bill of 2022, the government omitted to include in the definition of a supernumerary officer a deputy supernumerary officer.
In the amendments which we did not include a deputy for the supernumerary returning officer. And that is all that this bill is intended to correct. You see, Mr. Speaker, in my view, when I first looked at it and I realized the omission, I thought that common sense and logic would have allowed for an elastic interpretation that would accommodate the omission.
Mr. Nandlal said it could not be left to chance. As such, the government took a decision to correct the omission. Minister of Local Government Sunya Parag said the amendment was a simple one and ought to have received the full support of the House.
What we have now inserted reflects the practical structure already being used in our elections, one that allows for greater decentralization of tabulation, quicker response times after the close of polls, and more effective oversight of sub-districts. No longer should we have to be sitting in a country waiting 5 months for the results of our elections.
Traditionally, the statements of polls were tabulated in a centralized location in every electoral district under the supervision of a returning officer. However, with the passage of the 2022 amendment, the law now provides for the tabulation process to be decentralized. Come the 1st of September, the SOPs will be tabulated in electoral sub-districts. In Region 4, for example, there will be 4 sub-districts: East Bank, Demerara, East Coast, Demerara, North Georgetown, and South Georgetown. Minister Nandlal said the supernumerary officers, backed by their deputies, would be managing the tabulation process in the sub-districts.
For the listening public, it simply means that that exercise that we all famously saw, or that famous exercise that we saw, or that we all saw on March the 3rd, or beginning on March the 3rd, March the 4th, I think, at Ashman's building at the corner of Hatfield Street and Avenue of the Republic, that grand exercise that we all saw will now take place in Region 4 at 4 different centers. That obviously is being done to avoid the fraudulent fiasco which erupted at Ashman's building, and to avoid the electoral miscreants from unfolding their plans.
He indicated to the House that the government has decided to remove from the proposed bill the amendment to Section 33C1 of the Principal Act. Opposition Member of Parliament Royce Dilford said it was right and proper for the Attorney General to delete from the bill Clause 3, which was originally intended to amend Section 33C1 of the Representation of the People's Act. He said the opposition was prepared to vigorously oppose the proposed legislation.
Mr. Speaker, for the last 5 years, this government has bandied about and said publicly about its commitment to a fair electoral system, but has failed repeatedly to bring before this honorable House the sort of legislation, the sort of amendments which will guarantee, really and truly, a fair, proper, and credible electoral system for this country. Mr. Speaker, if this bill had passed, the effect of it, really and truly, would have been to confer on the Guyana Elections Commission, particularly the Commissioner of Registration, the Chief Elections Officer, with a very disturbing power and authority to exercise, Mr. Speaker, to exercise a discretion, Mr. Speaker, in relation to whether persons who are qualified to vote will be allowed to be registered, and to permit persons who are disqualified to remain on the register.
Ford said the now deleted amendment is just one example of an attempt by the government to rob Guyanese of a free and fair electoral system. He argued that the government has failed to implement a menu of recommendations put forward by both regional and international missions following the last elections. Health matters to report now. Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony today said there is no spike in COVID-19 cases in Guyana. However, he said the government is putting precautionary measures in place given the rise of a new COVID-19 variant globally. According to the World Health Organization, the new variant, a family of the Omicron variant, has been recorded in some parts of the world. On the 30th of May, the Office of the Matron of the Western Marara Regional Hospital, in a memo to the nursing supervisors, said in light of the recent rise in COVID-19 cases, a designated area in the hospital has been identified to accommodate all stable COVID-19 positive patients, including prenatal mothers. But Minister Anthony said there was no increase locally.
So there is no spike in COVID cases in Guyana. But the Ministry of Health, and through all our public institutions, we have sent out an alert, a precautionary alert, because we have seen that in other parts of the world, like China, Asia, United States, that there's a new strain that has been emerging, and that's the NB 1.8.1. And with that strain, you're seeing some amount of hospitalization. So having seen that happening in the other side of the world, what we are trying to do is to make sure that we take precautionary measures so that we have the mechanisms in place to test if somebody show up at any one of our facility, and if they need hospitalization, that we have the place to hospitalize them. So that's all it is.
Symptoms of the new variant, according to the World Health Organization, appear to be similar to the other variants of COVID. The WHO said while the number of cases recorded is relatively low, the numbers reflect a significant rise. Minister Anthony, at the time of the interview, was unable to provide the number of COVID-19 cases recorded in Guyana in recent months, but he said the numbers remain very low. He said while monitoring has been ongoing, voluntary testing remains low.
We have not stopped monitoring COVID here, but what has happened is that people are not coming to get tested. So without people being tested, we don't have enough information. But again, with this new strain, we have heightened, so anybody coming with flu-like symptoms, we're able to test for them. It doesn't mean that everybody with flu-like symptoms would present with COVID. They can have influenza, they can have something else, but we want to be cautious.
Persons in Guyana are being urged to take the necessary precautionary measures against COVID-19 and to visit the nearest health facility should they exhibit COVID-19 symptoms, which could include cough and sore throat, fever and fatigue. The new variant has been detected in China and parts of the United States. Co-leader of the Working People's Alliance, Dr. David Hines, has warned that a fragmented opposition could further split the votes when the general and regional elections are held on the 1st of September. He says splitting the votes would make it more difficult for the parties in the opposition to defeat the governing PPP.
A fragmented opposition force presents a challenge that should not be overlooked, especially in a situation where anti-opposition forces are consolidating around the PPP. Splitting the opposition votes makes the task of defeating the PPP more challenging under the current system. WPA is not convinced that a minority government would propel democratic governance and political stability.
The WPA has joined the coalition with the Partnership for National Unity. It had hoped that the Alliance for Change would have formed part of that grand coalition, but the AFC and the APNU have failed to reach any agreement. At a press conference today, Dr. Hines submitted that the coalition model is better suited for Guyana, with a plural society than the current one-party model. According to him, the Working People's Alliance has long concluded that no single party, however strong electorally, could realistically govern the country in an impartial democratic manner. However, with the election set, the WPA said it will be working overtime to mobilize support among the opposition's traditional base.
For the WPA, the first order of business must be the defeat of the PPP. That party has in the last 5 years demonstrated its incapacity and unwillingness to manage our plural society against the backdrop of our rise as a petro state. The PPP's drive to dominate the state and society has militated against any transformative outcomes in the political economy. The favorable macroeconomic indicators have not been matched by similar improvement in the quality of life of the broad masses. Similarly, race relations have deteriorated over the last 5 years as the PPP arrogantly pursues a policy of force co-optation.
Hines said the opposition must concentrate on presenting policies to the electorate to which they can relate. Such policies, he said, must be inclusive.
New York City, summer is about to get hot. Saturday, August 2nd, SR Hamilton LLC presents Gospel Infusion. Featuring Samuel Meadows, Psycho, Eddie Neblett, Sean Daniels out of Trinidad, Carlvin Burnett, Christelle Brandt, Sherilyn Maloney, DJ Kesta D, and many more at the South Jamaica Multi-Service Center, 11402 Guy R. Brewer Boulevard, Queens, New York. Gates open at 4 p.m., showtime 5 p.m. Get your super early bird tickets for only $50. General admission $70. Pay more at the gate and limited VIP $100 all inclusive. Come and experience the outpouring of God's grace Saturday, August 2nd. For more information, visit Gospel Infusion on Facebook and Instagram.
Your own home is so much more than just four walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank. We're the one for you.
Need small appliance for your kitchen? Giftland have it. Need fridge or stove? Giftland have it. Speakers or laptop? Giftland have it. I'm telling you, Giftland have everything. And don't get me started on TVs. 58-inch, 65-inch, 70-inch, 75-inch. All sizes in leading brands. Best thing about it, they give warranty. Man, Giftland is the place for all your electronics purchases.
Washi. Hi people, washing made so easy since I found Washi. Washi me use wash me clothes and I can say Washi soap powder wash clothes so nice. Washi soap powder leave your clothes color bright. Washi soap powder leave me clothes smelling nice, of course. So give thanks to Washi soap powder for doing my laundry right. Keep my clothes color bright, have my clothes smelling nice for sure. I could not ask for more. Comes in lemon and original. It is a washing machine in a pack. Washi soap powder wash clothes so nice. Washi soap powder leave your clothes color bright. Washi soap powder have my clothes smelling nice, of course.
Distributors located in the Stabrook Market.
New York City, summer is about to get hot. Saturday, August 2nd, SR Hamilton LLC presents Gospel Infusion. Featuring Samuel Meadows, Psycho, Eddie Neblett, Sean Daniels out of Trinidad, Carlvin Burnett, Christelle Brandt, Sherilyn Maloney, DJ Kesta D, and many more at the South Jamaica Multi-Service Center, 11402 Guy R. Brewer Boulevard, Queens, New York. Gates open at 4 p.m., showtime 5 p.m. Get your super early bird tickets for only $50. General admission $70. Pay more at the gate and limited VIP $100 all inclusive. Come and experience the outpouring of God's grace Saturday, August 2nd. For more information, visit Gospel Infusion on Facebook and Instagram.
In the world of politics right now, Vice Chairman of the Regional Democratic Council for Region 4 and member of the PNC Reform Samuel Sandy has joined the Regional Chairman Daniel Siram in throwing his support behind the People's Progressive Party and President Irfan Ali in the upcoming general elections. In a statement on Sunday, Mr. Sandy said he has consistently supported the work of the President and the PPP and stands resolute in his conviction that the government of Guyana is in capable, visionary hands. He said under the leadership of the PPP and President Irfan Ali, Guyana has experienced unprecedented economic growth, strengthened international partnerships, and significant infrastructural development across every region. He said from transformative investments in healthcare, education, and housing to major advancements in energy and national security, the government has delivered results that have directly improved the lives of the people of Guyana. The Vice Regional Chairman said it is imperative that the current administration continues its mandate, not only to consolidate the gains, but to guide Guyana through the critical period of economic expansion and social transformation. He said the PPP Civic remains the only political movement with the experience, competence, and inclusive vision necessary to unify the diverse society while responsibly managing the opportunities and challenges of the rapidly changing nation. Sandy became regional vice chairman back in 2020 following the general and regional elections. His appointment was controversial, as the Alliance for Change, which was in a coalition with the APNU at the time, had accused the APNU of going against an agreement and taking both the chairman and vice chairman positions on the RDC. The AFC claimed that it was promised the vice chairman post. The party attempted twice to move no confidence motions against both the chairman and vice chairman, but those efforts failed. As vice chairman, Sandy was responsible for a number of areas along the East Bank, the Marara and Suzdai corridor. He had often complained about being marginalized in his work by the chairman of the region. The decision now by both the vice chairman and the chairman of Region 4 to lend support to the PPP over their own party, the PNC, is a first for local politics. Region 4 is the most populated region, which is home of the capital. The PNC reform has consistently enjoyed the support of the region at elections. In the past week, the PPP has picked up a number of endorsements from the leaders of other parties, including the leaders from the New Movement, the Citizenship Initiative, and the Liberty and Justice Party. The PPP has also picked up the support of current ambassador to Venezuela and former PNC reform member, Dr. Richard Van West Charles. Guyana has assumed the presidency of the United Nations Security Council for this month of June. Guyana's permanent representative to the UN, Ambassador Colin Rodriguez-Burkett, will chair this month's activities, which include a heavy focus on global security. In a statement, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation explained that the month's activities include several mandated meetings on conflicts in Syria, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Iraq, Afghanistan, Sudan, Libya, Yemen, with a mandated meeting on Resolution 2334, which deals with Israeli settlements on Palestine's territory. President Irfan Ali is also expected to chair a high-level open debate on poverty, on the development and conflict, which is expected to feature briefs from the UN systems and the African Union. The release also explained that further that the debate will build upon previous discussions in the Council on the relationship between sustainable development and international peace security, with a focus on poverty and underdevelopment, and is coming at a time when armed conflicts are increasing and sustainable development goals are not on track to be achieved by 2030. Further, Guyana will also organize the annual Children and Armed Conflict Open Debate later this month, in addition to briefings from special representatives of the Secretary General for Children and Armed Conflict. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs stated that Guyana will also focus the Council's attention on some of its priority areas, including conflict prevention and the security development nexus, the impact of climate change on peace and security, the protection of children in armed conflict, and the Women, Peace and Security agenda. Guyana was elected to the UN Security Council for a term of 2 years as a non-permanent member, from January of 2024 to December of 2026. Prior to its current term, Guyana served on the Council between 1975 and 1976, and then again between 1982 and 1983. The UN Security Council is composed of 15 countries, 5 of which, China, France, Russia, the United Kingdom, and the United States, are permanent members, granting them the right to veto any resolution or decision of the Council. Regional carrier Caribbean Airlines has apologized to Guyana and has launched an investigation into the publication of an incomplete map of Guyana in an advertisement carried in its Caribbean Beat in-flight magazine. In a statement today, the airline said it has taken immediate steps to investigate how the error occurred and to ensure stronger internal review processes are in place to prevent a recurrence. Caribbean Airlines described the publication as an error. The airline said it holds the highest regard for the sovereignty and territorial integrity of all nations it serves and fully recognizes the significance of national symbols, including maps, to the people of Guyana. The airline said it recognizes 83,000 square miles to be on the map of Guyana and deeply regrets what occurred. It says it understands the concerns raised by its Guyanese customers as well as other stakeholders. The map which was displayed showed parts of the Tigray region in the Quarantine Berbice area missing. The airline said the error was unintentional and does not reflect the views or values of the company. Caribbean Airlines also said it will continue to foster unity, respect, and mutual understanding across the region. Just recently, Guyana had to object to the same section of the map being missing during a conference in neighboring Suriname. The neighboring country has falsely claimed the area as its own. The body of Guyana Defense Force Lance Corporal Stefan Tudor was discovered on Saturday morning in the Cayuni River, 2 days after he fell overboard while on a patrol in the Macapa Rapids. His body has since been flown to the city. In a statement, the Guyana Defense Force disclosed that Lance Corporal Tudor was part of a riverine patrol team operating near the Macapa Rapids, close to the Guyana-Venezuela border, when he fell overboard. An immediate search was launched for him, but came up empty-handed. The searches continued on Friday, but ended on Saturday after his body was located. The Guyana Defense Force has already convened a board of inquiry to probe the circumstances surrounding the incident and the death of the soldier.
The Father's Day Cultural Extravaganza is here again. Yes, it's dedication to Daddy 6 under the theme Stand Tall, Daddy, featuring Romo Edmondson, Letitia De Silva, Keisha Sam, Neelan Benjamin, Sonia Yard, Barbara Lee, Simone Dowding, Colin Ambrose, Frederick Minty, Antoine Gonzalez, Creative Arts Dance Troupe, and others. On Sunday, the 15th of June from 8 p.m. at the National Cultural Center. Tickets $2,500. Treat Dad to an unforgettable evening of wine, song, dance, and drama with an opportunity to win a fabulous door prize directed by Sharon Cadogan Taylor. Dedication to Daddy 6. Stand tall, Daddy.
Buster presenting the new 500 milliliter. Wow, Buster flavorful. Make every meal better. Grab a Buster for drink, Buster move. Taste this. 500 ml, that's it. Buster for days, that's cool. Buster 500 milliliter is a brand new choice of me drink with my food. Vibing every munch, that's smooth. Introducing the new Buster 500 milliliter. Grab a bottle with your lunch today.
Guyana's economy is rapidly transforming, and we're all part of it. Guyana is at the forefront of this development by providing reliable and efficient energy and supporting community development from the very core. 100% of Guyana's profit goes back to building schools, roads, and other important infrastructure that connects our cities and towns, providing fuel to domestic, marine, industrial, and aerial transportation. Guyana has now repositioned itself as a market leader in the petroleum industry, building a better future for all of us.
When the night has come and the land is dark.
Somebody in a happy mood.
Yes, Pujilu, because Ban's birthday coming up and I gonna be present.
Last year your friend them been.
And you like that?
If me and you ain't go together this year, things gonna be dark, really dark.
Let's celebrate the band's birthday on Saturday, 28th of June at the National Park with 9 one-man bands and Granny Ivy.
Big birthday!
Early bird tickets for $2,000. Stage front, $5,000. Tickets located at Just Your Size Boutique, Stovetop, White Castle Fish Shop, Fireside Suites, and Team Extra Stabrook Market. Band's birthday 2025, June 28th at the National Park. Gates open from 6 p.m. and free gate upon entry.
Ooh la la la. Let's go dancing.
With your regional and international news tonight, I am Svetlana Marshall in the region. Outgoing President of the Caribbean Court of Justice, CCJ, Justice Adrian Saunders, says he has no doubt that when the time is right, Trinidad and Tobago will withdraw from the Privy Council and make the CCJ its final court of appeal. As far as he's concerned, it is unsustainable on many levels for any Caribbean country to maintain the Privy Council as its final appellate court, according to Trinidad Express. He said, firstly, there are many people who do not have the financial capabilities to bear the costs associated with having their final appeal heard before the British court. The CCJ is based in Port of Spain. Apart from the financial aspect, judges at the Privy Council are far removed from Caribbean culture, and in a number of instances in the past, the law lords themselves have stated this, he said, during an interview with Sunday Express. To make the appellate court process at the Privy Council even more burdensome for citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, back in March, it was announced that for even short visits, Trinidadians will not be allowed entry into the United Kingdom without a visa. This includes for the hearing of their appeal. On Tuesday, Justice Saunders' term as president of the court comes to an end, after serving the maximum 7 years in the position. Around 13% of Mexicans likely turned out to vote in the country's first ever judicial election, Mexico's INE Electoral Authority said on Monday, as the government hailed a successful process, while analysts said the low turnout could undermine an already controversial reform. According to Reuters, President Claudia Sheinbaum estimated that some 13 million of around 100 million eligible voters cast ballots on Sunday to elect some 2,600 judges and magistrates, including all 9 Supreme Court justices. Counting is set to conclude on June 15, but INE officials estimated a turnout between 12.57% and 13.32% using a calculation based on several samples taken across the country. Sheinbaum called the process a complete success, citing a free vote and a prudent campaign at a morning press conference. The Interior Minister Rosa Rodriguez said the voting took place in a climate of peace and tranquility across the length and breadth of the country. And finally tonight, international news. Donald Trump's administration asked the U.S. Supreme Court on Monday to halt a judicial order blocking mass job cuts and the restructuring of agencies, part of the Republican president's campaign to downsize and reshape the federal government. The Justice Department's request came after a San Francisco-based U.S. district judge blocked large-scale federal layoffs, known as reductions in force, in a May 22 ruling siding with a group of unions, nonprofit groups, and local governments that challenged the administration. The case involves the U.S. Departments of Agriculture, Commerce, Health, and Human Services, State, Treasury, and Veterans Affairs, among others. Controlling the personnel of federal agencies lies at the heartland of the President's executive branch authority, the Justice Department said in the filing. The Constitution does not erect a presumption against presidential control of agency staffing, and the President does not need special permission from Congress to exercise core Article 2 powers, the filing said, referring to the Constitution's section outlining presidential authority. The Supreme Court requested a response by the plaintiffs in the case to the administration's filing by June 9. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Svetlana Marshall, wishing you a pleasant evening.